What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. The Yankees are down 3-0 in the ALCS. Dan, how are we feeling tonight?
Pat, let me ask you a question.
Do
How
it.
would you
I'm all
feel?
ears.
How would you feel if you consistently devoted your entire life to something, gave it your and all you got in return was, in the end, absolutely nothing? So, with that being said, I'm not great. I'm not great, Pat. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily great either. However, I will say for some strange reason, I've been worse. I think, now listen, we're going to break down everything. We're going to break down the future of the Yankees. We're going to break down the future of the series, I guess. But I'm going to give you my instant thoughts as of right now, because for those who are wondering, we're a couple hours after the final out now, and I've kind of like had some time to process. I watched the NLCS game, bro. By the way, the NLCS between the Padres and Phillies, insane
Yeah,
series.
which gives me
Kind of wish
pain.
out. But I will say, while it gives you pain, it gives me like some sort of like false hope. Now, when I say that I've been worse, I was definitely more distraught after games after the game two loss. I was definitely more upset after that, just because I was a little bit more unsure about where the Yankees stand. After this game three loss, I have this really weird feeling inside of me where it's like, okay, this is rock bottom. This is it. It can't get lower than this until the Yankees are finally eliminated. So you know what? At this point, you have 4 straight games that you need to win in 4 straight days, barring any rainouts or anything like that. Go out there, play with house money at this point. What do you have to lose, right? Everyone's doubting you anyway. You're down 3-0, and pull off one of the most insane comebacks in baseball history. That's the only thing that I have on my mind right now, because that's the only thing that we could look at, because I was watching that Padres Phillies game before, right? And it was making me a little bit upset. I was like, why are the Yankees not this competitive? Why is the Yankees Astros series not this competitive? And I thought to myself, I said, the series isn't over. Now, obviously, I mean, this is the definition of delusional optimism, right? But it made me so happy knowing that there's a game tomorrow, and there could potentially be a game on Monday. There could potentially be a game on Tuesday. And the fact that, like, everyone, including us, right, and everyone on Twitter is taking the game three loss, we're already viewing the season as over, but it's not. And I think that that's the most important thing that I'm sticking to right now, for now, until they do lose another game.
Pat, I absolutely love this energy. And I wish there was more people amongst the Yankee community that were like this. This is a rare moment where I don't exactly share that same feeling, because normally if you're new around here, not that you're negative, I'm just usually extremely
No, we
positive.
flipped. No, yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I'm usually just like over the top positive, just usually the way I am. And I'll touch on what you said at the end there in a moment. But I look at this team as a dead man walking right now. I am one of those fans that once we lost game 3, down 3-0, I do look at it as over, which does establish a very weird vibe for tomorrow, or for game 4. I don't know what it's going to be like. One, if you're in the crowd, even if, forget winning, say we go up 1-0 in game 4, like how do you exactly, even me from my couch, how do I react? Am I cheering or what? I don't know. I will say, I think house money is a good term going into tomorrow. It's probably the definition of the term, to be honest. I'm going to go into tomorrow with, one, the vibe of this is potentially the last Yankee game I'll watch all season. And although they make me very miserable right now, I always feel, like a month into the offseason, I'm like, damn, man, I wish I could watch a baseball game right now. I wish I really soaked in that last one. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I think you're right in the sense that with us kind of feeling the series is over, it is nice to know that, like, it technically isn't. Like, we could go out and win a baseball game in game 4. Do I expect that to happen based on how they've looked in the first 3 games? I can't confidently actually say that. But this is probably the last time I'll go with this phrase for a while. But it's baseball. Anything can happen. And I will say this. If we do win game 4, then all of a sudden you could reel me in really quick. Like, I'll be probably positive as hell tomorrow night. And I hope there is a tomorrow night. I mean, no matter what, we'll come on here and talk about it. But I hope there's a W coming out of tomorrow. I just right now don't exactly see it. And
Yeah.
things are pretty damn tough in Yankeeville right now. And
No.
last thing before I end this tangent here, assuming it doesn't go the way we want, and assuming we do end up getting swept tomorrow, just lose a series, whatever, a lot of changes have to happen. And even more have popped into my head since the last time we talked after the game 2 loss. A lot of things will have to change.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the biggest thing, right? Because I started thinking about the changes. Like I started going through all of this in my head. I mean, we went through it after the game 2 loss, right? And I thought to myself, I was like, the Yankees have showed us absolutely nothing this series to make us believe that they are capable of pulling off this historic comeback, right? 2004 Red Sox style. However, it's like if I don't have that hope, if I don't have that small percentage inside me that thinks it's possible, why am I even going to watch tomorrow? Right. Because I am planning on watching the game tomorrow. I'm planning on watching every single game until they get eliminated. So
For
if I'm
sure.
not going to watch with that notion that there's a potential that they could do something insane, I'm not even going to watch, bro. So that's why I have this mentality where it's just like, you know what? We know what this team is capable of, right? And they haven't showed it this series, but that doesn't mean that with the snap of a finger, yo, Garrett Cole, after his little post game interview, could have walked into the clubhouse and gave like not like the funny like speech that we saw before, but
Yeah.
like giving the speech of a lifetime. You know what I mean? And riled everybody up. They have their back against the wall right now. This could be Aaron Judge's final game as a Yankee. This could be so many things, dude. Like and the fact that they still have baseball to be played is a breath of fresh air. Maybe it might not be the right.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I'll say you bring up a speech, and I was thinking about this earlier. I feel like there's got to be something different that goes down in game 4, whether it's the vibe they go in with into the game or the actual approach. Finally, maybe we'll see a difference at the plate to where, all right, this clearly isn't working. We're probably screwed anyways. Maybe we should just shorten up our swings just a little bit, at least maybe on 2 strikes. Shout out Anthony Rizzo. He's the only guy that does that. But anyways, I was thinking that there is probably going to be just, if it comes from Boone, Judge, Cole, whoever, like a let's just play ball and see what happens vibe. And
Yeah.
that goes back to the whole house money thing. That is what, if there's anything to be excited about, does have me somewhat looking forward to watching game 4. There's not a lot of that for me, though. It really is just like that's like, and you're right. It's a
No,
small
I know.
percentage hope. And I understand that because that's how I am all the time. I always got to have something to root for. I got to have a slight bit of motivation just to kind of, whether it's keep me going in life, Yankee baseball, which is with us basically correlated. I don't look at it as 4 games in a row they're chasing after, though. It's, hey, see if you can maybe fucking win tomorrow somehow in game 4. And then at that point, you just take it one day at a time. Because like I said earlier, if they do somehow win game 4, which I don't want to say somehow, I mean, Nestor Cortez on the bump, shit could happen. Maybe we do win
Why
tomorrow.
not?
You make it the series 3-1, then I'll probably be a little bit closer to how you are. Like, because you seem actually like excited about it, which I admire, and I'm
Well, because
pumped
I've
for
kind of
you.
been like, yeah, I've been manifesting it. I've been like picturing it in my mind, like how, like the feeling we would have if the Yankees somehow, some way pulled this off.
No, I mean, that's great. And I'm glad you bring this up, to be honest, man, because I kind of needed this a little bit because I was going to today. One, I was thinking, all right, so assuming we do get swept, this episode that we're recording tonight and tomorrow are essentially going to be the exact same thing. You know what I mean? Because it's,
I was thinking the
we're
same thing
considering
too.
ourselves eliminated, but yo, you're establishing the vibes that I'm not. And I'm not sure the people at home, if, I feel like it's going to be split because you have the people that are
They're
like,
not gonna like it.
well,
No, I
some
was
will.
gonna
You
say
have
this.
you have the people that somehow get annoyed when others are positive and not miserable mother effers. Yet this is one of those times where I can also understand the miserable mother effers
So can I.
because it is tough to maybe feel the way you are and kind of persuading me into feeling right now too. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be weird as fuck tomorrow, no matter which side you're on, because even the people who are miserable about this team and giving up on it, which once again, I totally understand, like they'll probably be sitting on their couch, turn it on tomorrow too. If at the
Yeah,
very least,
dude,
just background
100%.
noise. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think it's really funny because I'm interested in the vibe in the stadium because we were just talking about this before.
Weird.
Seats for the game. I mean, you could get grandstand seats for like $40. That's unheard of for an ALCS. I mean, a couple days ago, I think they were going for like 200. So that's insane. But I mean, let's take a second now before we do kind of like keep looking towards what's next. I want to talk about game 3 a little bit just because complete disaster. We said going into it, I mean, with Cole on the mound, we were kind of looking at it as maybe an automatic W, hopefully. And the series would have been 2-1. 2-1's a lot different from 3-0. Like
Huge.
insanely different. So I mean, I'm gonna say overall, I'm not putting any blame on Cole for today's start. And to be honest with you, he probably should have stayed in the game for that 6th inning. I know that he had bases loaded, no one out, but the bases loaded were kind of based off just a bunch of nonsense. It's not like he was getting really hard hit, you know what I mean? And it's also not like he was about to implode. I think Michael K described it perfectly on Yes Network. Not sure if you saw the clip, but Aaron Boone's philosophy at that point has to be like, I'm riding and dying with my ace. Garrett Cole should have been the guy in that situation. And it's not like you're taking him out for Mariano Rivera, right? You're taking him out for Lou Trevino, who in the grand scheme of things, especially this postseason, isn't necessarily like one of your top three relievers, right? It's not like you're even bringing in a Loizaga or a Wandy or a Holmes. You're taking out Garrett Cole, your ace, the guy who you've rode with all season for Lou Trevino. And it ends up costing you the game. It messes up Garrett Cole's line. He ended up giving up 3 earned runs. And then also, earlier in the game, Bader misses the fly ball. Judge kind of blocked him. Judge took accountability for that, which I thought was decent. He said, yeah, I kind of messed up there. And then the 2 earned home run following that. But overall, I would say solid performance from Cole. But that's not even like the definition of today, right? The definition of today was that the Yankees were one hit going into the ninth inning, and it's kind of been the story of the entire ALCS so far. The offense disappeared again.
Yeah, real quick on Cole, he was awesome. Shouldn't have came out in the 5th or the 6th, whatever that was. I loved after that little whatever that was with Bader and Judge when they dropped the ball. Cole saying "I got you" to them, that was awesome, and that I think perfectly encapsulates the difference between Cole now and Cole like a month or two ago. Cole a month or two ago may have like thrown his hands up in the air when a ball like that dunks in. You know what I mean? So it was cool to see him do that. The homer too just scraped over the wall, and besides that, Cole pitched really damn well. It's the offense, as always. Broken record at this point. Talk about every single episode. That's ultimately why we're going to get bounced in the ALCS. I don't even know how much I really want to get into it. It's the same old story. Donaldson is ass. Judge is having a terrible postseason, which is really, really unfortunate. I do want to talk about that really quick, though. It has nothing to do with the pressure or bright lights. None of that. Judge's countless times has proven that he can handle the bright lights, whether it's in the regular season this past year in 2021, constantly coming up in big moments for this team, whether down by a bunch, game tied, extra innings, whatever may have you. You can bring it back to the postseason, too. He's had struggles at times, 100%, absolute fact. However, he's also had many successes. 2017 Walker game was awesome. 2017 ALCS, he was good. 2018 Walker game, good. 2018 ALDS, good. 2019 ALDS, good. 19 ALCS, not great. And then from there, it kind of spiraled a little bit. But he's established for that he can play in the playoffs. So the conversation of he can't handle the bright lights, that's absolutely ridiculous. Aaron Judge was awful simply because he was awful. And I do think that goes back to the home run chase. Without a doubt, his mechanics have been different ever since then, which is like the last week and a half of September. I think that messed up his swing at obviously the worst possible time, and it carried into October, which is a big reason why we're in the position that we're at.
Sure. I mean, I know I think it's a fair assessment just because, like, listen, I said going into the I said it kind of in the ALDS recaps that we were doing, but unfortunately, especially if the Yankees do get bounced tonight, whatever it is, dude, we're never gonna get the hang of that.
I've improved a little bit today, so
but I will say, if the Yankees do get bounced, they don't pull off this historic comeback and Judge starts raking. This, unfortunately, is what I'm going to remember about Judge's 2022 season. Even when they show the commercials on TBS, when like Judge hit number 62 in Texas, it kind of makes me sick. Just because I don't really care at this point. Don't get me wrong. I mean, amazing season. He's probably one of the sole reasons the Yankees are even in this position. Right?
That's just how it goes in New York, man. I mean, that just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Like whatever you do in the regular season, cool, that's great. But if you don't show up in October, whatever reason that may be, like that's what fans will remember you for. So
I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable at all. This is what I'm going to remember. I don't really care about 62 anymore. It was cool. It was cute. It's a great personal achievement for Judge, right? But especially if he's not even a Yankee next year, which I think he will be. But I'm saying there's a chance that he's not. This postseason has kind of been a disgrace just because, I mean, we heard Nestor say in his little pregame press conference, right? Like this team, they follow Judge, right? They follow Judge not only on the field, but off the field as well. So when you have Judge performing so poorly offensively, and even like the defensive miscue like we saw today,
which was his fault. I got to say, like that was on him.
No, I know he maybe he's just not mentally there. I don't know. Because it's not something we usually see from Judge. I don't know, dude. But I will say, his offensive woes, I mean, it definitely sets the tone for the lineup just because we've heard that everyone kind of like follows his lead. So when Judge isn't hitting, I guess it leads to everyone else not hitting too.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but it's just as simple to me as the best hitter in baseball didn't hit, and that's going to be a big detriment to a team. Now, a lot of people also ask me, what does this mean for the offseason? Did he cost himself money? Yes, I think he did, because
100%.
if he continued the way he hit in the regular season into October, then you're talking about extra money on top of what he already earned during the regular season. So he definitely didn't get that. Maybe cost himself an extra 10 million bucks. I don't know. But as for do I want him back? Yes, 100%. Simply for the reason of he didn't fold under pressure. His swing was clearly just off, which I'm not going to take what is this now? Maybe let's say 20 game sample size compared to not just 160 games of 2022 baseball, but his whole career, he's been an elite baseball player, still is on pace to, I don't want to say be on pace. I mean, yeah, we can forget about this season, but Judge has established himself as some sort of Yankee legend. Now, whichever way that story finishes, hopefully on a much better note than it has last few years in October. But he's a big part of this team. And ultimately, what is wrong with this roster? It's not Aaron Judge. I also don't think it's Anthony Rizzo either. I would like to see him brought back. But as for 1 through 9, and this includes even catcher position as well, outside of Judge and Rizzo, I mean, I'll look at the lineup one more time, but there's really not anybody and Bader, absolutely Bader.
Bader's had a solid postseason.
Yes, I just forgot about Bader. But Judge, Bader, Rizzo, those are to me the locks to come back that I would like back. Outside of that, man, the rookies for sure. I mean, obviously Oswaldo Cabrera, but like as for Gleyber Torres,
yeah, but not even in like a starting role. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Oswaldo and I love what he kind of brought to this team when he came up. But I don't want him starting for the Yankees next year.
I'm with you on that.
Don't.
I think he's a valuable piece on the roster, though.
So do I. But I just don't see him as like an everyday player. I just really don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. I'm just looking at the lineup right now. And obviously Stan, too, but he's here no matter what, so I'm not going to bring him up. But yeah, Donaldson's a big one. We'll get into this more.
Who also, I mean, Stanton's just one of those guys where it's like, if you look at his postseason numbers as a whole, especially this postseason, like they're not good. But it just doesn't feel like that just because it seems like Stanton always gets
hits. And he was the only one, especially when you compare it to like the Yankee average, man. I mean, like if there's like a Yankee WRC plus for this postseason, Stanton would be like 300.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, if Stanton was a free agent right now, I'd want to re-sign him. I love Stan. That wasn't me saying that before.
And also, I mean, let me say this. Without his 3-run home run in the first inning of Game 5, the Yankees might not even be in the ALC.
Yeah.
So it's
Stan is awesome. And that's another thing. Like you look at what are the issues with this team. And this is actually a big one. This is something that we should all hold our heads high. If there's one success that came out of the season, the pitching staff was incredible. And a lot of it is still under control through next season and beyond, which that is huge. I mean, oftentimes you look at a pitching staff to build a complete and good World Series caliber pitching staff. That's often considered to be the harder challenge than getting a World Series caliber offense. So the fact that we have that in place, that is huge. And that's something that we should be pretty damn happy about going forward. But yeah, no, I mean, just like I just said, I mean, you look at the offense, it has to be dramatically changed. And I'll say, man, there was part of me today, and I feel like this is just something that automatically comes up in fans' heads when shit goes down, like get eliminated from the playoffs. I'm like, man, I want to reset, bring up all the prospects, whatever. And then I thought about it, I'm like, man, fuck that. Like, we are the New York Yankees. Like, we shouldn't have to do this. And one of the comments I've given Brian Cashman and just the Yankees organization as a whole is, all right, no matter what, they're in it every single year. Got to give them credit for that. That's the bare fucking minimum. So no more me giving credit for that crap. You understand? I want to go out and sign. I don't know who the top dogs are in free agency yet this year. I haven't looked over it, but I know Trey Turner's available. We got Anthony Volpe coming up. Great. He can play short. He can play second. But why not go out and sign a Trey Turner or go out and sign, I don't know. I want a 2009 like offseason. Like we're the New York fucking Yankees, bro.
Yo, what's up, guys? Dan here. Brief interruption to let you know that our friends over at Best Jersey Throwbacks are having an insane deal. Buy 3, get 1 free sale for a limited time. They have all our favorite Yankee players like Aaron Judge, Derek Jeter, Oswaldo Cabrera, and many, many more. Also, have other MLB teams as well. So if you're looking for players like Shohei Ohtani, Julio Rodriguez, and many more, you also got NBA jerseys, NFL, NHL, and even custom jerseys as well. So why spend over $150 on jerseys when you can buy them for $50 or less at bestjerseythrowbacks.com and get 4 jerseys for the price of 1? They provide an affordable buying experience for fans passionate about their favorite players and teams. Your purchase also comes with a tracking number and 24-hour customer service. Click the link in the description to check them out. You will not regret it.
I think it's so interesting because it's like you look at the NLCS right now, right? and the two teams that are playing each other have the two top free agents that we wanted the Yankees to land a couple of years ago, Machado on the Padres and Harper on the Phillies. Two guys
Kill
that
me.
the
Kill me.
Yankees didn't really make a serious run after either. I mean, especially Harper. I don't even think they made any sort of
And
run.
why
He
was
wanted
that,
to be a
Pat?
Yankee.
Because we had Aaron Hicks, Clint Frazier, Jacoby Ellsbury in the outfield. We had too
insane.
many
No.
outfielders, according to Brian Cashman.
But that's
And Manny
also my thing,
Machado
though.
wanted to be a Yankee. He probably would have taken 260 from us, bro. That's what the reports were saying at the
But
time.
so
I
did
remember
Harper.
it vividly. Yeah,
So did
Harper as
Harper.
well. And he's making,
Yeah.
guess how much money this year? $25 million. How much is Josh Donaldson making this year? And I understand it's different
And
long-term
next
versus
year as
not.
well.
But who wouldn't want to have, like, doesn't it pain you when you see
No.
that go ahead double that Bryce Harper hit tonight, and then he's firing up the crowd saying, "This is my house." Oh, his house should have been Yankee Stadium.
No, I know. It's upsetting, but it's also at this point, like, we don't really come to expect it, right? But I will say, there are free agents out on the market that the Yankees can go out and get. I'm just not confident that they're going to go out and get them, right? I know you're not a huge fan, but I will say one guy out there who I would love to kind of who not only would shift the entire on-field direction of this team, but would also shift the entire mental and
Correa.
just yes, the gritty aspect of this team. Give me a Carlos Correa. Give me someone that can walk into the clubhouse and just switch everything up with a flip of a switch, bro. Maybe the Yankees need that. And I said it last year too, that he could kind of be that guy. However, I don't think that the Yankees want him for whatever reason. Maybe they view him as a clubhouse distraction. Time to go in and get Donaldson. I don't know.
Now that he has that year in the Twins, he seems like, a lot more far removed from Houston, I guess. I'm a lot more down to get him than I was last year, which I was.
I don't think the
end.
Yankees are, though.
There's also at that rate, though, they would probably just go for Trey Turner. I mean, you look at last year, the alternative to Correa was Seager. Trey Turner is a much more appealing alternative option than Corey Seager was last year. So I feel like if they were to actually go long-term with a shortstop, probably would be Turner. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because Volpe, and this is something I'm excited for, I think Volpe will be the guy, not by opening day, but hopefully by, 2 months into the season. I mean, I wish I came prepared with the free agent top dogs this year. I don't have that.
Well, that's more of like an off-season.
Yeah, exactly. But just more so, I want to go out and get like a big fish, man, to put in the lineup because pitching is set. I want to
what the Phillies did, bro.
Let's just say fuck it, man, and trade everybody that's not Anthony Volpe. Like put everybody on the table. Let's say that's not Anthony Volpe, and also sign a couple big free agents to put in this lineup, and let's make a team that can beat the Houston Astros. That should be what's solely in focus. Beat the Houston Astros, make a roster that's better than the Houston Astros. And that's possible because we have so much money. We have a pitching staff that is World Series caliber, intact as we speak, going forward. Add a couple of big bats, one via trade, one via free agency. That's really what they could do. You don't have to give up everybody in the goddamn farm system to get one bat via trade and then spend $30 million a year. And also, just eat Josh Donaldson's contract while we're at it. You know?
Yeah.
You did it to A-Rod. You could do it to Josh Donaldson, which no matter what you want to say about Alex, he did so much more than Josh Donaldson ever did for this organization. And it's all the same shit. An aging third baseman, and Donaldson's worse. Does Donaldson sell any tickets? At least A-Rod probably put a few butts in the stand, and they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Do it with Donaldson. There's just a lot that, once again, we'll go into a full episode breaking down all this. And sneak peek coming up, I do have a off-season blueprint video coming soon. And it's going to be pretty radical, Pat. It's going to be pretty radical. I'm going out there. I want this all to be, and we should probably talk about the whole Boone thing real quick because I don't look at this as any, or as Boone being the face of what's happened this year. I'm big on players didn't perform. It's their fault, which ultimately is the GM who put those players on the field's fault, Brian Cashman. I think Cashman has to go. And I hate just saying that like easily. And that's what I tweeted out before because it was like, often people, anytime something goes bad, they just call for the GM to be fired. So I like to avoid that because it comes off such a casual take. But Brian Cashman really has to go, man. We need a total, I think, wipe through. And that's where Aaron Boone getting fired could happen. Like he just becomes a casualty of a mass sweep.
Which also I think it should. I think it should happen.
I'm not for or against Boone getting fired because I don't think he really has.
I know, but then like we look at what happened this postseason in terms of like the clubhouse is lost, right? I mean, like you can't really and also I
don't know if the clubhouse is lost, man. Like the players just aren't good, like compared to Houston Astros.
But I don't even think it's that. It's also like
was the clubhouse?
Did you see what Cole said in his post game?
Was the clubhouse lost 3 days ago when we were beating Cleveland? You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. Like, everything seemed fine, and then we lose.
Clay Holmes. the whole Clay Holmes situation, he didn't know that he was unavailable. I mean, there's definitely like a little dysfunction. And then you have Cole in his post game today. I mean, he clearly wasn't happy with Boone's situation. So it's like you can't sit here and
Yeah, I
necessarily say
mean,
that
in the
Boone
end,
has
that's
done a
just
great
starting pitcher
job,
got
you
taken
know?
out of a game. I'm glad Cole was mad about it. That's normal. Whether you think it's Boone's fault or not, what
I'm
will
not saying
make
it's his fault, but like someone has
or
to
whether
like
you think he's at has part of the blame, ultimately, what will make the difference is the players that are on the field. We agree with that.
yeah,
So
for
in
sure.
the end, the main blame falls on Brian Cashman, and I'm quite petrified at this point that he'll never go. Like, if
No,
not now,
he's a
when?
lifer,
Like,
bro.
you might as well, no, for real. Like, give him like a gold crown and like a fucking, I don't know. Like, he's never gonna go anywhere apparently
I
if
know, but
he's
dude,
this close in a Brian or a House Steinbrenner's family
he
and
calls
has a
him
job for
family.
life. He really does. So if not this season, this off season, when he's entering GM free agency or whatever, we might just be stuck with him for life. And it's not the worst thing in the world because he's not a bad GM. No, he's not a bad GM, but he treats the New York Yankees sometimes. I feel like they're the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes, but I think also what we have to remember is that there's a lot of moving parts involved, right? I think that Brian Cashman, I say this all the time, he GMs the Yankees very conservatively. I think he does that
Very,
because Hal Steinbrenner is a very conservative owner. You know what I mean? And also, I think that Aaron Boone is a very conservative manager because he's under very conservative leadership. So it's a very trickle down effect. So it's like, yes, while I do think that Cashman should go, I do think also at the same time Boone should go. And I think also at the same time Hal should sell the team. But I don't think that all of these things are necessarily realistic. So I'm under the notion right now that everyone is staying, right? And I'm also under the notion that the Yankees are going to have a pretty damn similar team next year. Do I want that to happen?
can't
No, but
happen.
that's what I'm mentally preparing myself for, because what I do want to happen is a new GM. I want to bring in like a brand new GM, like AJ Preller when he first went to the Padres, right? So
I
someone
would
who has
love a new
something to
GM.
prove, bro. Maybe like a young kid who just wants to be like, yo, we're the New York Yankees. Like, let's make some splashes. Let's get the best roster in baseball. We don't care how much money we have to spend. And someone who feels like they have something to prove. Because Brian Cashman, let's just be honest, he's very secure in his job. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody.
So if
He
anything,
doesn't.
maybe they should promote him to executive of baseball ops and then bring
Maybe.
in a fresh GM just to change up the rhythm a little bit. By the way, for Boone, I would be down for him to get out just because I would love a clean sweep of the organization, just have a
100%.
total fresh feel. And that's the only area that, and ultimately I wouldn't want this, but like the only way you could convince me about not resigning Judge is for that very fact of like, I don't want any reminder
I
of the
agree.
failure that's been the last 6 years.
That's
I
the
would love to
only
want,
reason.
I
Yeah.
want, and by the way, this is, assuming we lose, I'm putting this chapter to bed. The Baby Bombers, goodbye. One of the biggest failures of all time. Gave me so much hope in the goddamn world. Let's just remember back to 2017, man. And this scared me at the time. I'll never forget it. After we lost ALCS Game 7 to the Astros. Oh, it's all good because the Yankees will be back. And I remember right away when I would hear that from everybody, which was a reasonable thing to say, young and upcoming team, one of the most exciting teams in baseball that year. But I remember thinking like, man, winning a World Series is hard. And then right after that, we get Giancarlo Stanton. That was awesome. But if you actually go back and look at the rosters, man, outside of 2019, and even with that pitching staff, we were never the team to beat. Not once. Not
No.
once did we go into a playoffs, and mostly because of the Houston Astros, but also we weren't as good as the Dodgers on paper. We not once, with the core that we were ideally going to take advantage of and win not one championship, but championships, we never put the best possible product on the field when there were historically good free agents available, like Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, and
Bro,
then
Bryce
obviously
Harper and Manny Machado were available in the same free agent class. That's
nuts,
insane.
absolutely nuts.
And
And
we didn't
we
get
also
either
held on
one.
to Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar, who are now neither on the team. Both those guys, we packaged them. If we wanted to package them together, we would have had Garrett Cole 2 years early. And then guess what?
And
We
he
probably would
wouldn't
have
have went
beaten
to the
Houston in
Astros.
2019.
Yeah.
So it's just so frustrating, man, because man, it's just not the Yankees, dude. Like, I don't know how you were like growing up and all, but like
No,
I
dude. I
remember
mean, no,
no, look,
I'll,
just
I'll say
growing up,
this
it's like the
in
Yankees.
terms of,
Go ahead.
no, I was going to say in terms of like viewing the Yankees growing up. I mean, I wasn't even when I was 9 years old watching the 2009 World Series, I wasn't phased by it. You know what I mean? Because I thought that was
Just the
so normal.
Yankees.
I thought, yo, the Yankees win the World Series. Like, yo, the Yankees went out. They got Mark Teixeira, CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, Nick Swisher. obviously they're going to win the World Series. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best team in baseball. And now, since 2009, I'm now 22, and they haven't even been there since. It's hit me like a brick wall that it's just not the same
I
game.
remember when I really first, like, the core I grew up with was the 2009 to 2012 Yankees. And you had the one World Series championship, which I was old enough to appreciate. Not in the way I would appreciate now if I saw them, but like I am able to say, like, I watched the Yankees win a World Series.
Yeah.
And then through 2012, made the playoffs, didn't win it, but was still, it represented what I consider to be the greatest franchise in the world. And then we go through that little, dry spell, 2013 to like 2015, 2016 ish. Not fun. And I remember saying to myself, like, man, this doesn't feel like the Yankees that I always grew up watching, right? And then all of a sudden, this new core comes into play, and it seemed like, all right, we're back. The Yankees are back, the best teams in baseball, and we got something that's really brewing for the fan base to be excited about. And I'll never forget the excitement I had, whether it's reading Brian Hoke's The Baby Bombers or just all the posters and marketing. If you look back and see, like, dude, Gary Sanchez was everywhere in my room, everywhere. Luis Severino was legitimately a top 5 pitcher in baseball, which he's still one of the better pitchers in baseball now, but and Judge ended up being a success. That's great. But it could have been so much more than 3 ALCS appearances and a wild card exit. And
it's so sad.
Everything else that we've gone through.
I have this poster in my room. It was like a Trenton Thunder giveaway. I bought it off of eBay in like 2016, right? It's a poster that says Baby Bombers, and it has Judge, Gary, Greg Bird, Luis Severino, Rob Refsnyder. Like, and I
Why the
bought
fuck
that.
did they put Rob Refsnyder on that poster?
No, kind of weird. Shout out Rob Refsnyder though.
Yeah.
But I just look at it. I'm like, damn, like, what could have been? What could have been, bro?
Because to me, it made so much sense the way things were shaping up. Because I remember when that happened, when 2017 first came to be. I remember thinking, like, this makes sense. Like, man, my dark times as a fan was 85, 86 win teams. And just like that, we got a brand new core that's going to be, a dynasty. And I thought, like, all right, this is going to be my 90s team that I now get to watch. And it's just crazy because now we sit here in 2022 with one more game left to go, down 3 on the ALCS. And I'm looking forward to a new set of prospects coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad that this is what happened, but it was one of my biggest fears, man. Is, the Yankees are good, they'll be back. Haven't you fucking gotten to a World Series, man?
That's why it's so frustrating though, because like someone needs blame, but it's like, where do you point the blame? Do you blame it on Cashman for not setting up a proper roster? Do you blame it on Boone for just not managing the team properly, like taking over for a team that just got back from Game 7 of the ALCS, not even getting there again? Do you blame just the players? Did Brian Cashman assemble the right roster and they just didn't perform? Like, what is it? Because at the end of the day, we're not going to ever have an answer. You know what I mean? We can just assume, we can analyze and think what we think the problem was. But at the end of the day, no one is ever going to know what went wrong with this core. And don't get me wrong. They could win 4 straight, like I started off the episode with. And this all might be for nothing because they could still win the World Series.
Don't let them win Game 4.
Don't let them win Game 4. But I'm just saying, in terms of where we're at right now, I want to watch a documentary about this one day, just because the disaster of this period of 5 years has been one that I have never seen before as a baseball fan.
Yeah. And I want to at times give Cashman some slack when I'm getting so pissed at, like, the way the roster is, just how bad the lineup is. Like, man, like, we've had 3 or 4 different shortstops this postseason. We don't know who, like, if Carpenter, like, it's the whole lineup's been so out of whack, and I get so frustrated. And I try to give him a little bit of slack. Like, all right, well, if Andrew Benintendi were here and DJ LeMahieu were here and healthy, it would be an entirely different story. It sucks the fact that those guys got hurt. And then you think about the fact that who are the Astros missing right now? Michael fucking Brantley. So it's like,
and also, they lost Carlos Correa, George Springer.
Like, and they just sprout out these brand new players, which, to give another piece of hope, there's the pitching staff. That's something to hold your head high for. Our farm system is pretty damn good. I mean, I think Peraza looks even better than I hoped he could look in a month of playing baseball for us. Volpe is the real deal. Jason Dominguez is awesome. Austin Wells has really raised a lot of eyes with the season he had. And we have a lot of, our depth is pretty damn solid. So we have that going for us, yeah. But I can't get excited about prospects the way I used to, man. I never will again,
No,
and even for the ones that turned out, because in the end, it doesn't mean anything if you don't give the support around them. Like, Judge has been great. Savvy, when he's on the field, has been great. But once again, if you actually go back and look at some of the lineups that we've had outside of 2019, and 2019 I think is actually the year that'll sting the most because that we probably had the most chance for. If only we had an extra pitcher that year, man. But
I know, bro.
we
If
should
you
have.
put
We should
our
have went.
pitching now on that team,
Oh,
they
we're World
probably don't
Series
lose a game in the
champions.
playoffs.
I'm gonna dream about that tonight and have a good night's sleep. But we should have went all in a lot more than we did. And it sounds crazy because, like, all right, we gave Cole 324 and we gave so we got Stanton, right? But there's so many more little supplemental meals. Like, you don't have to give everybody $300 million, but how nice would it have been to give fucking Zach Wheeler $110 million? You know what I mean?
I know,
Or
dude.
how nice would it have been? There's countless
But
players
I'll
you
tell
can
you
go
what.
down the list, but like it doesn't always take signing the $300 million dog to be the big free agent piece. Like, when was the last time the Yankees got like a $75, $80 million player? For real. It seems
They
like
don't.
they
No,
don't
they
get
don't.
those supplemental nice
Well,
free
because
agent moves. They only get
now
like the
it's
big
like-
dog every once in a while.
Yeah, it's either the big dog or like bargain bin, or
Yes.
it's either like
It's
a
Corey
Garrett Cole
Kluber.
or
It's
like
Garrett Cole
yeah.
with
I was
Corey
just gonna
fucking
say
Kluber,
that.
bro.
I was just gonna say that. But yo, it's really frustrating. And one thing that you did say before is that like the Yankees always are competing, and that's one thing you'll give them respect for. But I think it hinders them in a sense of where they don't ever necessarily go all in. Like they don't necessarily ever go all in and trade. Like they
Because they
didn't want to
prospect hug.
trade. Yes, they didn't want to trade away Andy Warren and Clinton for Cole because they were too worried about like, oh well, what if these guys become stars in the future and we don't have them?
Ridiculous.
So it's the scary part of they never want to go all in on the moment because they're always worried about not being competitive in the future.
And hopefully that's what the learning lesson will be from this whole thing. My philosophy is always pick one guy. And you don't have to have that guy, but sometimes you do. For us, it is Anthony Volpe. I'm such a believer in Anthony Volpe. I think he should be off the table. I don't think there's one player I'll give him up for. Maybe, I mean, I don't know who's the best player in baseball.
Would you have given him up for Soto?
That's what I was thinking, but no, I really don't. I think at the
I
time
think I
I
would've.
may have, but even I would really still have to think about it. But what I'm saying is pick one guy and then everybody else has to be on the table. And that includes Jason Dominguez or Austin Wells, whoever.
Sure.
Pick your one guy. That's Volpe. Sure, don't put him on the table. But you're never going to win if you don't put all your chips on the table or if you don't like actually try to improve the team outside of bargain bid free agent deals and trades for like 80 overall players. Now I'm talking like MLB The Show shit, but like we
See potential type
we always
guys.
get like we get like 80 overalls. Like we never get like we'll get 80 overalls with like one or two 99s. But if we could just get like an 87 here and there or an 89, you know what I mean? What I'm
You've
saying
been playing
makes
too
sense,
much
though.
franchise mode. No, I
I'm
know
playing
what you
some
mean.
franchise after this. I'm gonna watch Star Wars Episode 3. How long have we been going? I'm sweating, bro.
No,
Damn,
this is a long episode for sure.
It's been a
But
good
I
one,
think
though. I've
we
enjoyed it.
talked.
It's been a therapy session.
I will say this. I know we say this usually after all of our episodes. You guys don't know this though. I think this is one of the best. Just
Me and
saying.
Pat, literally every single episode, like my movie theater Diet Coke.
What is that, like an XXL?
Yeah, you know how I said like before I was like I'll be good in 20 minutes. You want to know why I needed that 20 minutes?
Why?
Because my mom made
meditated?
fresh pumpkin pie.
That's
I had a couple
actually gross.
slices.
Shout out to your mom, but
You've
pumpkin
criticized her
pie
cooking
is
before, so what did you
disgusting. No, I
criticize
have
one?
not.
What was that one time? It was like was it meatballs or something? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
like,
you probably said like, "Oh, my mom made meatloaf tonight." I'm like, "Damn, that sounds disgusting." Or you were
Yeah.
probably like, "She made meatloaf casserole," and I
I'll
was like,
find it. I'm gonna
"What
put
are
it in
you
this
talking
episode.
about, dude?"
Man, I don't know. It was kind of a weird day today, man. I once they give that 2-0 homer, and I'm never like this. Once it was 2-0, I just knew, man. I was
With
like,
that Jose Altuve swing, bro. I'm over.
oh, you're
Chas
so right
McCormick.
about that. You're so right about that. Absolutely, you're
Put
dead
in the
on.
footage.
Because I literally thought that was one of our funnier show moments when you asked me to put in the fucking slowed down B-roll side by sides of two Astros player hitting a home run after the Yankees just lost the game. What do you want me to do anything else tonight? You want to see his swing in slow mo?
No, can we actually get
There's no B-roll today. Sorry.
a slow mo of Altuve
That's honestly
breaking his
a
hitless streak?
no. That's a rule, honestly, that I'm establishing for the show. No win, no B-roll.
Well, it's because no win, no highlights.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
it's
part of
like,
it
why
because I don't
not?
already have
Yeah.
the clips. No, it's
Yeah.
more so it just takes longer to edit and like I'm pissed off and I just want to fucking I don't know, man. Let me cope with losses the way I cope with losses. All right. You worry about
Yo.
you, I'll worry about me.
I will say though, to kind of like summarize this entire thing, don't let the Yankees win tonight. It's as simple as that. We got Hoodie Dan. Just don't let the Yankees win tonight, because if they do, then not only am I going to get my hopes up, but it's going to get everyone else in the world's hopes up as well. Because then you got
I'll tell you, bro.
Game 5 in the Bronx. Tyone, it would be Tyone on the mound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. And then Game 6, you would have Sevy back. Game 7, Colin short rest, bro. Don't let the Yankees win, because then we're winning in 7.
Tonight is such like a fuck it, let's see what happens vibe that it does excite me. And I'll say,
What is there to lose?
if we win, then it's 3-1. Then I can get a little excited too for the fact of I look back to like 2019, and I remember after we won Game 5 and made it 3-2, I was excited as fuck for a Game 6. So one game at a time, you got to look it for.
That's also my thing, though. It's like, yo, everyone had their funeral tonight. Everyone on Twitter, like everyone in the world, is acting like season's over, and now it's like
when you break up with somebody
feeling.
and then you like had that one last meetup in person. It's like,
no, but you didn't even fully break up yet.
No, you're
like,
right. You're right.
You guys just had you had a 5-hour
you still have a chance to save it
about breaking up, but now you're meeting up tomorrow for dinner to see if you're actually gonna break up. Maybe you're not.
You pretty sure she has plans to break up with you, but you're seeing if you can maybe somehow pull something out of your ass and save the day, which is possible. No, you're right.
You're right. You could shoot a half-court shot and just make it in. You're chilling. The
All
Yankees
right,
are winning.
Okay, listen.
Yankees in 7, bro.
Let's win a fucking ball game. You know, I mean, honestly, if they don't win, I might as well just we'll record an intro and then just replay this exact episode because it's all gonna be the same shit. But
no, it's
whatever.
not though, because my vibes are gonna be a lot different. Right now, I'm super confident still, just because I already.
I'll be I don't think I was as much depressed, Danny. Today, I was more
no, because I got you.
True, you got me. You really do. Warning though, if we do lose tomorrow, I will be a fucking Grinch. I'm just gonna, not be a nice kid. I'll be nice to you, but just I won't be the happiest of fucking kids. I don't know, bro. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new. Right, that's everything, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. Yankees in 7.
Guess how long this episode was?
37 minutes and 42 seconds.
I was gonna guess 39 minutes, and I'll say 24 seconds.
37
so we'll
minutes,
see.
77 seconds, because the Yankees are winning in 7.
I'll have to see, but because there's also the ad. Oh, best jersey throwbacks. Use them. Get 4 jerseys for the price of 1.
Solid
advertising. All right, yo. We'll see you guys. Drop a like, all that bullshit. See you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees.